the last class, so we have learnt about Raja Rammohn Rai, and we also draw the idea that how Raja Rammohn Rai's inquisitive nature, or wanted to know what? Now wanted to know means how the Britishers were powerful, right? So what he did, he crossed the seas and traveled to England, right? So there he knew about the Britishers, and he talked about that what Britishers as a nation, right? So he also met the Britishers and told the Britishers that Britishers as a nation, right, must accept, right, must accept the Indians as the main priority, right? As the Indians considered Britishers as their rulers, right? So even he added that they must accept, right, Indians as the subjects and not forget, right, their responsibility and duty towards the Indians, right. So Raja Ramon Rai is known for his efforts to establish, right, various rules, at the same time abolish the practice of satira and also child marriage. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now coming to the next one. The next one is indicating about what? That is called as a operation. Any idea what is the meaning of operation? What do you mean by operation?
I know the meaning of hospital operation.
But that operation is different and this operation spelling is different. That operation is called as a what? Uh, you can say a kind of a treatment, right? A kind of a treatment. And that spelling is different also. Operation. And this operation is referring to 1765 to 1835, that called as a prolonged, cruel, or unjustified or unfair means treatment. Right? What is the meaning of operation? Now, this operation means called as a write down. This operation means called as a prolonged, uh, prolonged cruelty, cruelty, or unjust or unfair treatment, unfair treatment toward to Indians, Indians, right? So it means how the Britishers were means treating to the Indians. How the means the Britishers were treating to the Indians. The Britishers were treating to the Indians in a very cruelty manner or unjustified and unfair manner, right? So and even you can say that they were showing the kind of authority or cruelty towards the Indians, right? And it continued till 1765 to 1835, right? These years. Now, what do we find out here? But it is started by saying that, but the British continued to oppress Indians. But the British continued to oppress Indians. Oppress means what? Now that's called as the Britishers find new ways, right? New ways to bring uh, misery. Misery means called as a sorrow or sadness to the Indians, and torturing the Indians and suffering to Indians, right? So in 1818, right, you can see that in 1818, right, what happened? Now they had passed Regulation 3. Under it, an Indian could be jailed without trial in a court. Do you understand that? So what does it say? Do you understand that? It is stated that in 1818 year, right? So Britishers had created one of the rule, and that rule or regulation is three. And this regulation stated that how means rule or regulation is unfair, right? And that kept an Indian, right? That kept an Indian for jail without even judgment, right? So Indian could be jailed without having any kind of a trial or any kind of a jail, right? So in that case, it is called as a kind of a torture to them, right? All the time, British officers in India drew big salaries and also made fortunes in private business. Now you would find out that British officers were getting advantage. They were drawing big salaries. They were taking huge money from India, right? And they were investing huge money uh, for the betterment of the private business, right? But at the same time, they were not doing anything for the betterment of the Indians, right? Even in 1829, what happened? In 1829, Britain was exporting. Britain was exporting what? British good worth 7 crore rupee to India, right? Britain was exporting British goods with 7 crore or worth 7 crore rupee to India. So what happened here, right? So this is the particular year in 1829, right? So Britain were importing goods worth 7 crore rupees to Indian. As a result, the Britishers grew richer and richer, leaving the Indian industry high and dry, right? So it means now the Britishers who were depending upon the Indian, right? Now they do have their own money, and through that, so they were means getting richer day by day, right? Even the British prospered. The British prospered on the companies loot while Indian industry began to die, right? So industries of India, right, are getting into degrade condition, bad condition, whereas the Britishers were enjoying, right? So you would find out that Governor General, who is Governor General? Now, Governor General Lord Bentinck, right? So, Governor General Lord Bentinck, what did he do? Now, Governor General Lord Bentinck reported back home. What did he report? Now, Governor General Bentinck had conveyed to Britain that the bones of cotton weaver are bleaching the plains of India. Now, what is the meaning of this statement? And who is Bentinck actually? So Bentinck is the Governor General, right, of Britishers, right, to India. So, and according to him, the bones of cotton weavers are bleaching the plains of India, right? And to highlight that, the plights and misery of the traditional cotton weavers India, right? So Governor General Bentinck wanted to point out that how, right, means Britishers were the pain, Britishers were the misery, Britishers were the means main reason for that means for the cause of Indians suffering, right? This means that the cotton weavers were forced, right? Forced to starve. Starve means what? Hunger. Why? Now, because of the cotton mill set up by the Britishers, right? So the Britishers set up the cotton mills, right? And what they did, now they produced much cheaper cloth with the help of machines, and that led the traditional Indian handicrafts to extinction. Now, if you talk about that, what do we draw? Now we draw that how the Britishers were, looting to the Indians. So according to the Bentinck, that what means how the Britishers were looting to the uh, bones of cotton weavers. So when we talk about bones of cotton weavers, it means Indians were weaving the cloth, right? Manual weaving the cloth, right? And they were earning good money. But what the means Britishers did, now Britishers took a lot of money from the Britain, right? They set up their own companies, and with that companies, so they means they automatically produce excessive weaving of the cloth, and that's the region. So they sell they sell the product, or they sell the cotton cloth in a cheap price, and because of that they were earning huge money, right? Whereas Indians were living in a bad condition, they unable to sell the product, so they had to stay hungry. They had to stay hunger, and also die of hunger, right? Am I clear? Am I clear, Mayank? Mayank?
Sir.
Yes. Do you hear me?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Now, shall we go to the next one? Dissatisfaction.
Yes, sir. What is the meaning of this satisfaction?
The meaning of dissatisfaction is called as a not satisfied, right? Not satisfied. The meaning of satisfy is called as a someone who is, mentally and physically, and also means monetary. When you are getting satisfied, or you can fulfill the basic needs, we can say satisfaction. But when someone is not getting the basic things like food, shelter, and cloth, so obviously live in a dissatisfaction life, right? Uh, yeah. So it starts by saying that education in India was in Persian. Education in India was in Persian and Sanskrit, right? In 1835, an Englishman named Macaulay. What is the name of that person? Macaulay.
Opposite.
Macaulay. Macaulay. Yeah, Macaulay. So who is Macaulay? Macaulay is
Sir,
the name of the one of the Britishers or Englishman.
England man.
Yeah, Englishman. Who is Macaulay?
Englishman.
Yeah. So an Englishman, right? So you know that during that period of time, right, when the country was country was doing, right, or country was focusing on Persian and Sanskrit language, right? So in 1835, what happened? One of the Englishmen, whose name is Macaulay, so he suggested the change of language, right? What kind of a change of language? Now, the Macaulay said, we should teach the native, we should teach the natives through the English language. It means Macaulay introduces the subject called as a English language, right? Even Britishers agree with it, right? So in that case, they why the Britishers thought to go for the English, so that the education is delivered in their language. So the education is delivered in their language, right? English education produced what actually? English education produced clerks to whom the British gave petty jobs. Do you understand the meaning of petty jobs?
No, sir.
The meaning of petty jobs is called as a low jobs, right? It means
No.
a low job means called as a, you can say, the kind of a job uh, which is cheaper, right? Or called as a means you can talk about some kind of a job which is which have no importance, right? Like you can talk about, if you are the Britisher, right? You allow your nationalities or your native people to give a high class job, whereas the Indians were getting low class job, right? And incidentally, what happened? It also produced a new generation of intellectuals. Incidentally, so what happened now when English education was given, For the reason of what? Now, for the reason of giving lower class job to the people at the same time, right? So it is also found, right? So how the English helps people to produce a new generation of skillful or called as a knowledgeable Indians, right? So here it is stated, we must educate our brothers, right? And we try to improve their material conditions, right? So, and it is also said for that we must convey our grievance to the British Parliament, right? Now, these are the Indians who were talking about that what now their viewpoint. So what happened now? Introducing English language become means become one of the good thing for the Indians. What is that? Now they able to join in the British section. They able to join in where now in the British company, right? So they got the unimportant clerical tasks and administrative duties like answering the phones, typing documents, feeling, and also meeting with the clients, right? In the process of doing so, they created a whole new generation of skillful mastermind, right? Means mastermind people, right, who wanted to uplift, who wanted to also grow, who wanted to also grow their brothers too, right? In a family, in Indian family, all the people learn, and also all the people start helping their neighborhood or their brothers, right, to educate. By educating them, by educating Indians and Indian brothers, what happened now? These people wanted to strengthen their financial goal, right? As we know that Indians were living in a very bad condition, Indians were financially very poor, right? And that is the reason what the Indians wanted to do. Now they wanted to make the financial goal of the future strong, and that is why they allow their next generation to study or to read English and to do well. So, and that is why they have also decided to inform their government, and the government is called as a British Parliament, right, or Britishers. On the other hand, right, Britishers could not care. Britishers could not care less about the need of the Indian people, right? So by 1856, what happened? By 1856, the Britishers had conquered, right, the whole of India, the states as well as British area. They cared nothing about the needs of Indians. So means whatever Indians want or whatever Indians want to do or desire, right? So Britishers did not care about it, right? Our kings have become puppets, right? Indian kings become the puppet of Britishers' hand, right? And we have lost our old jobs. We have lost our old jobs means what? Now that called as there are many people of Indian, right, who lost their jobs and they lost their lands also. They are expressing, they are converting our brothers. So they are expressing their sadness. You only talk, do something to drive them out. So it is the kind of a discussion that was going on in villages, right? And people means in villages show their concern, right? So their kings are now being treated as a puppet. Puppet means you understand toy, right?
Yes,
So they had lost their old jobs and the land. Britishers were forcing some of them to change their religion. Indians were tired of talking and wanted to do something, right? By 1856, the Britishers had acquired all parts of the country, India. Now,
yes,
next, yeah. So now moving to the sparks. What is that? The sparks? What do you mean by the sparks?
Sir, sir, chingari.
Yeah, very good. The meaning of sparks is called as a chingari, but how does the uh, phrase the spark relate to here? Now we can say the spark is called as a means anger that started. Anger that started. It means that the anger means initiate or began in the year of 1855 to 57. The meaning of the spark is what? That's called as a anger, right? So now, when did it start? It started in the means in the year of 1855 to 1857. So it is stated. It is stated what? Now taxes continue to destroy the peasants. So Britishers did not care about the Indians, and what they did actually, they put huge taxes. So use taxes on whom? Now use taxes on the peasants. Who are the peasants? What do you mean by peasants?
Sir,
What is the meaning of peasants? Peasant here. Peasants peasants का मतलब क्या होता है?
sir, peasants.
या peasants समझ सुनाई
Yes,
नहीं दे रहा है
sir.
क्या?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know that.
What is that?
The farmers.
Then why are you taking so much time to answer this?
Sir, I do not understand the words.
You do not, I pointed it, still also you cannot identify that. Okay. Okay, so here it is telling about peasants. So peasants mean farmers. So when taxes were put excessively, taxes were put excessively on the peasants, or called as that, those taxes actually destroyed the peasants or farmers. In Bengal, what happened? In West Bengal, in Bengal, the the Santals who had lost their lands. Santals, you understand? Uh, then so one community or one group, right? So the Santals who had lost their lands, right? Why the Santals had lost their lands? Now because of the Britishers under new land rules also, right? Because of the Britishers creating new rules, right? And that became desperate. In 1855, they rose in war, rebellion. 1855, what happened? Now, Santals of the jungle, right, they started rebellion. The meaning of rebellion is called as a war, right? And the lakhs of people got killed, massacred. Massacred means killed. Write down the word's meaning. So what is that? One is called as a massacre and the other one is called as a rebellion, right? So rebellion and massacre means what? Now rebellion means war or fight, and massacre means what? Now massacre means called as a killed, right? So Santals and Britishers were fought together. So in the year of 1855, right, and many of the people had got killed, right. Now next stage called as a discontent was brewing in the East India Company's army too. So you would also find out that discontent means dissatisfaction, and that was brewing. Brewing means what? What is the meaning of brewing? So gradually improving or increasing. The meaning of brewing is called as what? Now gradually increasing. Right. Please note down.
Yes, sir.
Gradually increasing. So you would find out not only the dissatisfaction, war, and uh, sorry. So not only the war, not only the attack, not only the dissatisfaction, right? So not only those of the things, but also dissatisfaction also occurred among the Britishers also, right? So Britishers, it means in the East India Company's army, right? The white soldier gets, so even people who are working, right, under the army government. So uh, it is stated that the army of the Britishers were getting good salary. Specifically, white soldiers were getting excessive payment, huge pay, mansions to live in, servants, right? Even they were living in such a good house. They were living in a good house. They were getting good payment, right? So while we means called as Indians who were also working in the same you can say that same profession and also same rank, right? But these Indians were not getting good chances of good places to live and also good promotion and good money. We get a pittance and slow promotion, right? Means Indians were not given means all kind of a facility that the means Britishers were getting. The Angraj is referring as a Britishers. The Britishers ask us to cross the sea, which is against our religion. Who is that Topiwala to abolish our age-old customs? So when Indians were not interested to go out of the country, out of the sea, or cross the sea, right? So they denied, and when they denied, means the Britishers stated that means no one can deny, right? No one can deny means our age-old custom. That means to go to the other country, right, through sea areas and also by crossing the sea areas, right? We must drive about the Angraj. So, and when in Britishers were going against of the ideas of the Indians or Indian army people, right? So, not only Indian army people, Indian Santals, right? So, at the same time, people of India, right, showed their anger towards the Britishers. It is also stated Sipai Mangal Pandey, so one of the famous freedom fighter of the British Army, right, who attacked the adjutant of his regiment and was executed. So we know that there was a character called as a means Sipai Mangal Pandey. So and how Mangal Pandey was going against the British Army, right, and raise his voice, right? So Mangal Pandey was a military officer who acts as an administrative assistant to a senior officer. He was working as an administrative officer to a senior officer, right? And what he did actually, now he went against the Britishers, right? Thousands of other sepoys revolted. Even many of the other sepoys who were also protested when they see that how Indian armies were also getting means forward and also going against the British system, British principles. So that's why means thousands of other sepoys the revolted, or revolted means that called as a go against the Britishers. They were
British.
stripped. They were stripped of their uniforms. They were stripped of their uniforms means they removed. They removed the uniforms of the Britishers, right? Humiliated and put in irons, right? So they even were tortured and also means punished a lot, right? So that's what was a torture to whom? Now, Indians, army people who were working under Britishers, right? Even even few Englishmen, few Englishmen had cared to understand Indian, right? So some of the English people are there who had cared to understand Indian. So they also have a good emotion, right? They understand Indians, right? So not only Indians but also their customs or the people, Indian people's mind, right? So even, oh, proud Brahmin soldiers, do you know that the grease on the bullet you have to bite is made from the fat of cows and pigs, right? Even means to make the protest against the Britishers, right? Some of the means, rumors also spread. Even some of the news spread in the society, right? That what now the people who are working under army, people who were working under army, right? They had to use the guns, they had to use the dagger, right? And those guns have the bullet, and that bullet outer part is covering with nothing but the fat of cows and pigs. Fat of cows and pigs means what? Na charbi, right? So we used to say that the charbi of whom? Charbi of means cows and pigs. Bujiuchi?
Yes, sir.
So that fat of cows and pigs, which were actually used for the covering of the bullet. And when we talk about cows and pigs, so cows are the holy god of Brahmin, whereas pig is the means one of the symbolism of the Muslim, right? So that's why what so it means what the Britishers have tried to make the means make the religion out of the mind of whom Indians, and that is why means they created or they spread the news. And what happened after that? Now the white Brahmin and the Muslim people, right? They said what the white man has cheated, so the deceived us. What do you mean by deceived? The meaning of deceived is called as a cheating, right? Deceived means what? Cheating. So soon chapatis were sent from village to village to tell the people that their emperor would want their service. Yes, all my village men will be ready. Similarly, lotus flowers are circulated among Indian soldiers dead to the foreigner. Right? The masses gave all help and shelter to the patriots. So when Indian armies, right, who were working under the Britishers, so they found lots of problems, and the Britishers kind of cheating to the army people. So what happened? Now these Britishers were getting angry. Sorry, these Indian armies were getting angry, and also they started protest against the Britishers secretly, right? So soon chapatis were sent from village to village to tell the people that their emperor would want their services, right? So it means those of the people who stay hungry, so their ruler were giving them what means food to eat, right? Even means similarly lotus flowers circulated among Indian soldiers dead to the foreigner, right? So the masses gave all help the shelter to the patriot, right? So if all the any of the British soldiers die, right? So lotus flowers is shared, or lotus flowers are shared among the Indians, right? Because it is the sign of what? It is the sign of uh, the masses gave all help and shelter to the patriots, right? So it means what the Indian people feel happy when any of the foreigner, right? Any of the Britishers die, right? Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. This too would be the last. Now revolt. So what happened in this revolt? Now if you look into it, revolt means what? How means Indian people started protesting against the Britishers in the year of 1857, and the war continues, right? Then there was a violent outbreak at Meerut. So the first violent or sudden protest and sudden war declared against Britishers at Meerut, right? Right. So it is stated that the sepoys marched to Delhi, right? So obviously, means when we find out that the Brahmin, Muslim, army people, right, common peasants or farmers, all were getting problem because of the Britishers. So that is why suddenly what happened, means a violent outbreak or called as a sudden protest and sudden war was declared at Mirat, right? And these army people who went straight to Delhi, right? So they used to say, "Long live our Emperor Bahadur Shah." So, and what they do actually, now they wanted to meet the emperor, right, ruler, and whose name is called as the Bahadur Shah Jafar, right, Bahadur Shah Jafar. So people and the, you can say that Indian army, right, who protest against the Britishers, so they started going to Delhi, and there they met Emperor Bahadur Shah, right? The rebellion spread wider, right? The rebellion means that called as a war, right? The protest against the ruler, right, or against the Britishers spread wider or called as a, means it is spread across the country. Many landlords had lost their lands because of the British policies, and they were sure, right? So landlords, jamidars, right? So these people were lost. These people had lost their lands. Why they had lost their lands? Now they lost their lands because of the British policies, right? And that actually creating the pain to them, right? So they say the white man's rule must end. So everyone, even the landlords, also wanted that these Britishers' rule must be ended or must be complete here, right? Yes, we will help you. So who will help you? So landlord, right? Also support to whom? Now peasants, army people, farmers, and also what do we say that? Who else have also involved? Peasants, landlords, and armies, is not it? So these people have got together and started this, decided to what? So decided to go against the Britishers, and uh, what they will do? Now they remove Britishers from the country called India, right? Now the last one, the fight for freedom, right, in the year of 1857, right, the fight for freedom. So this freedom was, means this freedom was the thought of the, means whom now, these sepoy, these peasants, these means orthodox Brahmin and also Muslim people, right? So even some of the jamidars, or even the jamidars, even the emperor also, right? Many former ruler, right? Rulers means what? Some of the means king or queen, you can say that. Some of the rulers or many former ruler like Begum Hazrat Mahal of Lucknow were bitter. The white man has taken away my kingdom. So why Hazrat, Begum Hazrat Mahal of Lucknow were getting upset on British people because British people had taken her kingdom, right? That's right. So she also wanted to involve in the in the war against the Britishers. Popular leaders, right, like popular religious leaders like Maulavi Ahmadullah of Faisalabad told the people that, "Rise, brother, rise. The Angraj is ruining our land." So means it is the invitation to all the religious people by the religious leader to come forward and fight against the Britishers. Are you listening to me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, after that, what happened? They joined the upsurge against the foreigners. They joined. They joined means what? These kings and queens and religious leaders, they all joined. They all joined for what? Now, upsurge. Upsurge means what? Now, rising against the foreigner. The people rose. The people means came out. The people came out everywhere in Bareilly, Kanpur, and Allahabad. So from everywhere, they all participated and they started fighting against the Britishers, right? So even the character, or even some of the some of the kings, or some of the means a part of the court of king, right? Like you can say Ajimullah Khan, who told Tatya Tope, right, that what now we should have Peshwa Nana, we should have Peshwa Nana Sahib as our leader in this war of independence. So this is the war against the Britishers to get the country free from the British people, right? Or not only to free from the British people, but also means uh, get the freedom, right? Or get the free from means all kind of a cruelty that the British people were torturing or humiliating to the Indians, right? So there were many of the former means, people who involved in this war. 80-year-old Kunwar Singh, 80 years. Look into this. So we can find out that the age was not the barrier to fight against the Britishers, because we can find out 80-year-old Kunwar Singh of Bihar received a bullet in his arrest. Right? How the people die, how the old people were treated. So they all, right? They all fought for the country. Mother Ganga, Mother Ganga, this is my last offering to you. Who said that? Now, the 80-year-old
80 years
person,
Kunal.
right? Yeah. So he said that, right? So he wanted to die in the lap of Ganga. So that is why he was saying, Mother Ganga, this is my last offering to you. So the patriots gathered upon the British, right? Pounced upon, gathered around the British, or gathered uh, upon the British, and fought hard, fought hard battles all over North India. So you can find out that how this fight, how this fight leads to what? Now, make somehow called as a weak. Weak to whom? Now, weak to the Britishers. And Britishers realize that what means somehow it is the Indians, not an easy task to ruling them, right? So that's what means the author stated at the end of it, right? So in this revolt against the British, we find out all varieties of people were involved, and they dedicated themselves to fight for the country and make the country free from all kind of cruelty, humiliation from the means, Britishers, right? So that is all end of the topic. I hope you understand the whole chapter, yet also having some doubt or queries regarding this topic, question and answer, please do ask me. Right? Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
So meet you in the next class. Right.
Yes, sir.
Read it properly, because next class you will get the test of this particular chapter.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hmm.
Yes, sir.
So bye for now. So meet you in the next class. I'll give you some tasks to do. Right. Wait a minute. I'm giving you some tasks. You do it now. Right. You do it now. Right. Mayank, did you receive
Yes, sir.
two Google form test? Please try to do it, right? And submit it as quickly as possible.